All right, so we are looking at place values and rounding. I want you to just take a second. You can pause this video if you need to, and just think about, what do you already know about place values? So our number system is base 10, which just means we use 10 digits to represent our numbers. We have the digits 0 through 9. And each place has a value, and these are called place values. So for example, in the ones place here, we could put any digit from 0 through 9. If we go above 9, we go back to 0, and then we put a 1 in the tens column. And that's basically how our place values work. So on the left side of the decimal point, we have the ones place, the tens place, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, etc. And on the right side of the decimal point, we don't have a oneths place. It starts with tenths, and this TH, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and 10,000ths. So the further away we get from the decimal place in either direction, the higher our place values are going. So for example, if we take this number 695.495, in the hundreds place we have a 6, in the tens place a 9, in the ones place a 5. Then we have our decimal point. In our tenths place, we have a 4. In our hundredths place, we have a 9. And in our thousandths place, we have a 5. So we could say we have 695 and 495 thousandths. Or we would normally say the number as 695.495. Take a second and just think about what would be the place values for these following numbers. Okay, we're going to look at this first one together. So I have 52,308.254. And so in my 10,000ths place, I have a 5. My thousands place, I have a 2. Hundreds, 3. Tens, 0. Ones, 8. Tenths, 2. Hundredths, 5. And thousandths, 4. And I can say this number as 52,308.254, or 52,308 and 254 thousandths. Take a second and think about these other two numbers. All right, so our place values are really important when we are working with rounding. What do you already know about rounding? When we're asked to round a number, we're being asked to make a longer number shorter or simpler. And we're going to run into this a lot during this class, because when we put something in our calculator, a lot of the stuff we're going to get is going to have a ton of numbers after the decimal place. And we don't need that many numbers after the decimal place. So we will generally be asked to round. And no matter what place value we're asked to round to, we look to the number that occupies the place value to the right. If that number is less than 5, we leave the number we're rounding as is. If it's 5 or greater, then we round up. And it's really important to read the directions carefully, because you may be asked to round to different place values within the same assignment. If the directions don't specify, you can safely round to 2 decimal places, and that's going to be our default, is rounding to 2 decimal places. So let's look at some examples. We're usually told to round to the nearest hundredth, or 2 decimal places. And to do this, we look at the thousandths place. If that number is 5 or higher, I round this hundredths place up. If it's 4 or lower, it stays the same. So what I'm saying is my answer is going to stop here after the hundredths place. But I have to look to the thousandths place to see what's going to happen with my hundredths place. Let's look at an example. So we have 6.428, and I'm asked to round to the nearest hundredth. But I have to look to the thousandths place to see what's going to happen. And since the thousandths place is an 8, which means it's 5 or higher, I round up to get 6.43. If I look at this other example, I have 18.571. Again, this is where I'm stopping, is at my hundredths place, but I need to look to my thousandths place to see what's going to happen. Because that thousandths place is less than 5, my 7 is going to stay 7. So I will have a rounded number of 18.57. Let's look at a couple more examples. Pause this video and give these a try. All right, so with this first one here, we again are looking to round to the nearest hundredth or 2 decimal places. From this 5, we're going to look to the next place and we see a 1, which means it is less than 5. So we will round this number to 418.95. On this next one, we're going to round this hundredths place, but we need to look to the thousandths place, and we have a 4 there. Again, it's less than 5, so we're going to stay at 76.12. And then in this last one, we're looking at this hundredths place. We have to look to the thousandths to see what's going to happen. And now the 6 is more than 5. So we will round up to 0.48.